A man who dares to waste 1 hour of time has not discovered the value of life. A man's friendships are one of the best measures of his worth. At some future period, not very distant as measured by centuries, the civilized races of man will almost certainly exterminate and replace the savage races throughout the world. I love fools' experiments. I am always making them. Ignorance more frequently begets confidence than does knowledge. It is those who know little, and not those who know much, who so positively assert that this or that problem will never be solved by science. I have steadily endeavored to keep my mind free so as to give up any hypothesis, however much beloved, and I cannot resist forming one on every subject, as soon as facts are shown to be opposed to it. An American monkey, after getting drunk on brandy, would never touch it again, and thus is much wiser than most men. I cannot persuade myself that a beneficent and omnipotent God would have designedly created parasitic wasps with the express intention of their feeding within the living bodies of caterpillars. If the misery of the poor be caused not by the laws of nature, but by our institutions, great is our sin. A moral being is one who is capable of reflecting on his past actions and their motives, of approving of some and disapproving of others. We must, however, acknowledge, as it seems to me, that man with all his noble qualities still bears in his bodily frame the indelible stamp of his lowly origin. The very essence of instinct is that it's followed independently of reason. A scientific man ought to have no wishes, no affections, a mere heart of stone. How paramount the future is to the present when one is surrounded by children. The highest possible stage in moral culture is when we recognize that we ought to control our thoughts. I have tried lately to read Shakespeare, and found it so intolerably dull that it nauseated me. The mystery of the beginning of all things is insoluble by us, and I for one must be content to remain an agnostic. To kill an error is as good a service as, and sometimes even better than, the establishing of a new truth or fact. I have called this principle, by which each slight variation, if useful, is preserved, by the term of natural selection. False facts are highly injurious to the progress of science, for they often endure long, but false views, if supported by some evidence, do little harm, for everyone takes a salutary pleasure in proving their falseness.